in New Orleans at 3 a.m. on New Year's Day. A man drove a truck through a crowd, killing a crowd of revelers, a crowd of people celebrating the New Year, and killed. He then was killed in a shootout with the cops. Now, who is it that does these horrific things like this? It seems increasingly that it is former U.S. Army personnel. U.S. Army veteran from Texas who was employed by Deloitte is the subject. That's one of the biggest weapons contractors, or Pentagon contractors, if not weapons. But the suspect in a bloody New Year's Day attack in New Orleans that killed at least 15 people, injured 30 more. Shamsuddin Jabbar, 42 years old, died in the shootout with police. Weirdly, I highlighted this just because of how ridiculous this statement is. The police superintendent, Ann Kirkpatrick, said, "This is not just an act of terrorism. This is evil." Oh, as opposed to the other good acts of terrorism, I guess that would be anything the U.S. military does. Those, you mean those kind? So this is not one of the good ones of terrorism. This is the bad. Got it. This is bad terrorism. Other kinds good. Okay, cool. He also apparently had an ISIS flag in his vehicle. Of course, what your mainstream media will not mention is that, ISIS wouldn't exist without the U.S. government, without the U.S. Destruction of the Middle East, without the U.S. funding and arming so many groups over there. Even if we're not arming ISIS, where do you think those arms end up? When we flood the whole region with all kinds of military arms, where do they end up? Oh, in the hands of ISIS. What a shock. What a surprise. But that's not mentioned in your NBC News report. So yeah, this guy spent years in the military. And of course, let's all remember that in all of these articles, even being many very good independent media sources will say he served in the military. Don't use the word served. It's part of their propaganda. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. That's what my father always used to say whenever, you find out about the rust proofing charge on the car or whatever it was, some little manipulation or whatever. He always said, that's how they get you. Well, here's one of the that's how they get you. He didn't sound like George Costanza, but it's the same idea. That's how they get you. So don't say served. Say he was in the military. It just act like it's a 4-H club or some shit, okay? Act like it's a subscription service for flowers. You don't serve in the subscription, sir. You're just in it. You just signed up to be a part of it, okay? It's not a service to commit crimes around the world and blow people up. It's not a service. It's one of the many services the U.S. government offers. Along with this horrific moment, you had the one apparently attempted terror attack didn't achieve much outside of Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. The first thing you should know about Trump Hotel in Las Vegas is, other than a symbol with the word Trump on it, it is meaningless. Okay? Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. All of Las Vegas, this started well before he was president, because Las Vegas is completely corrupt. Trump is completely corrupt, but they're different kinds of corrupts. It's like two mafia families that did just because, you're in the mafia too? Oh, well, I guess I love you. No, you can have two mafia families that hate each other. That's Trump in Vegas, okay? Vegas hates Donald Trump. Maybe there's a few in power now who have joined his team, but in general, Vegas hates Donald Trump. So when he put his hotel there, first they tried to stop him from putting anything there. Then when he finally just built this giant monstrosity in Vegas. I mean, can there be a monstrosity in Vegas? Vegas is a monster. It's just all monstrosity. It's like a monstrosity store. He built the same thing everyone else was building in Vegas, but they hadn't given him a liquor license. So no one wanted to stay at Trump Hotel or go to Trump Casino, because I don't even know if he had a casino. Maybe they didn't give him a casino license. It might have just been a hotel. Anyway, I know he didn't have a liquor license. So no one would buy rooms there, because guess what? People want to fucking drink in Vegas. There's nothing else to do but drink and play and lose all your money in Vegas. And so he blew up his Cybertruck, which many have pointed out that he and the other terror attack in New Orleans used the same car rental service that I'd never heard of. So he only blew up himself. He injured others. But to me, the real connection is also former military. Former military dude outside Trump Hotel. Former military dude drives through the people in New Orleans. And if you named two other terror attacks, I know we have mass shootings throughout the United States all day long, but if you name two other terror attacks of the past 8 months, what would you name? Well, the attempted assassination of Trump. Well, one of those guys, not former military, but clearly wanted to be. He went to Ukraine to try and join some Ukraine mercenaries thing, and he apparently had visited Fort Bragg 100 times. both these other two guys, the one in New Orleans and the one outside Trump Hotel, both former Fort Bragg lunatics. A lot of Fort Bragg going on in all of these. And people love to draw connections that can't necessarily be drawn. Oh, this must mean they all work together, all that shit. I wouldn't say that. I'd say the connection is just when you are put into a system that is about murder and destruction around the world, it screws you up. Either you're screwed up before, and that's why you chose to join, or you get screwed up by it. And that messing of their minds can go in multiple directions, some or different directions, depending on who it is. Some come back from these battles overseas and they are screwed up in that they end up beating their spouses or they can't keep a job or what have you. Others end up screwed up in other ways. They never want to talk about their so-called service because it's horrifying. What is the number of? Yeah, it's still 25. I think it's still 25 a day are killing themselves of our military veterans. Crazy number. And a large percentage of homeless in America are military veterans because they can't really keep a normal life together after how messed up they've been. It's so, to me, that's the connection. Yeah, I mean, in a way, joining the military just is MK Ultra. Because in a way, it is designed, especially at the higher levels, when you join the Marines and shit like that. In a lot of ways, it's designed to break you down, right? It's designed to break down your sense of self and replace your sense of self with that entity, with the Air Force or with the Marines or what have you. And that is MK Ultra, right? To break down someone's mind, turn it to silly putty, and then the government can mold it as they see fit. And so MK Ultra was kind of notorious for going after people that were not in the military, but it's many of the same things. Now, some of the most dastardly MK Ultra stuff maybe is not done in the military, such as dosing people with various drugs and not even telling them that happened, etc. But, essentially the military uses the MK Ultra playbook to break down the people that join them and make sure they don't have a sense of self, and that sense of self is then recreated out of the garbage that your military feeds them.